I'm Kamiovich, and welcome back to CtK News, the only news station providing you exclusive coverage of daily life in first century Palestine. Our reporters walk the streets in sandals, brave hungry crowds, and set sail on the Galilean Sea, all to bring you up to the minute breaking news. CtK News. News you need, news you trust, news to live by. Our story today comes from the Galilean region, where something that can only be described by bystanders as a miracle has occurred. Our very own Peyton Pittman is on the scene. Peyton?
Thank you, Cami. William Carlson here, who's filling in for Peyton Pittman, whose family is on vacation. I'm standing here in what was only moments ago a packed house overflowing with a large crowd. The reason for the crowd? A man named Jesus. Why so many people? They say Jesus comes from Nazareth, but many wonder if he really comes from heaven. If you look above me here, there's a hole in the ceiling.
It was probably a little bit bigger than that one, but close enough.
No, it was not caused by rain or vandals. It was the result of a desperate and heroic attempt by a few local heroes to help their paralyzed friend. Sarah, can you tell us what happened?
Well, Mr. Reporter, first, thank you very much for asking the question. You know, we heard lots of people were being healed by Jesus, but we couldn't get to the house where he was at on account of the fact that there were so many people. So by the time we were able to carry our friend to that house, it was filled with people inside and out. At first, we were scratching our heads. We didn't know where to go. The windows were blocked, the doors were blocked. But we didn't want to miss out on this opportunity. So instead of waiting outside for who knows how long, we decided we'd just climb on the roof. We'd all been up on roofs before, so that's what we did. And then we were up there, we were like, let's rip a hole in the ceiling. So we just ripped a hole in the ceiling and lowered our friend to Jesus. Simple as that.
Did you ever worry about getting in trouble with local authorities or upsetting the crowd?
Yeah, well, we worried about that a little bit. But, you know, we'd had some brushes with the law before, so that didn't concern us too much. We all thought that could happen. But we figured, what do we have to lose? We might as well try. He's our friend. He'd do the same for us.
How did you go about making a hole in the roof large enough to fit your friend through?
You know, it wasn't as hard as you might think. You see, my friends and I have a lot of experience with construction work, fixing things, remodeling, whatnot. Glenn, he had his tool belt. Matt, he works on roofs all the time. I'm naturally good at putting holes in things. That's my expertise. Just get that sledgehammer and whack. There it goes. There's a hole. So we make a good team. A few cuts, some rips, and a kick or two, and we're in.
I see. So what happened after you lowered him into the ground?
So after we lowered him to the ground, we were still on top of the roof. And so although we saw everything, we had a hard time hearing what Jesus and the people on the floor were saying. I heard Jesus saying something about forgiveness, I think, and then it looked like those other religious folk got upset over what he said. I definitely heard one of them shout blasphemy. Wondered where that word came from when Jesus was just healing people. For a second there, actually, I was scared that they'd get into a full-blown argument and either forget about our friend or accidentally step on him. So I was mostly concerned for our friend. Anyway, before I knew it, Jesus said something directly to our friend. It sounded like, stand up. I think that's what he said. And our friend, who hadn't been able to walk for a very, very long time, just stood up right there, picked up the bed, and walked through the crowd out the door. It was the darndest thing I've ever seen. I was so amazed I lost my balance and almost fell through the hole in the roof and right on top of Jesus' head.
What did you do after that?
Well, what do you think we did? After I regained my balance, we got down from the roof as quickly as possible and ran for our friend. We wanted to celebrate with him. We wanted to give him some high fives, some fist bumps, some bro hugs. We wanted to know exactly what happened. So after some hugs, hoots, and hollers, he told us Jesus forgave his sins first. That's why the religious leaders were upset. That's why they said blasphemy. And then said to him, stand up, take your bed, and go home.
Well, there you have it. A paralyzed man lowered through a roof, picks up his bed, and walks home. You heard it first on CtK News. Back to you, Cammie.
These Jesus stories do seem to be piling up. One harder to believe after the other, it seems. Anyway, now to the Elwell sisters for the weather. Ladies, how's it looking out there?
It's partly cloudy and 84 degrees today, so, but make sure to patch up any holes in your roofs because there's going to be a storm front coming through tomorrow. And you can expect a few thunderstorms throughout the day.
Oh, and be ready for the possibility of sudden calming in this storm, especially if Jesus is on a fishing boat with his disciples. And that's the view from our window.
Thank you, Elwell sisters. That'll do it for today's CtK News. From all of us here, we're wishing you a good day. CtK News. News you need, news you trust, news to live by.